Hey guys, McKeon Roberts from Wired to Fish, and we're going to talk about one of the oldest tactics in bass fishing, and that's Texas rigging. The thing with Texas rigs is they're so versatile depending on the bait that you use, depending on the time of year, all those things. And so I'll talk a little bit of specifics on what we were doing yesterday, in fact. So water temps yesterday were pushing 70 degrees. They were warming up about a degree throughout the day, so 70, 71 degrees. That's an indication that those fish are going to be post-spawn. Fish go into shallow bays to spawn. After they recoup, they pull off the edges a little bit. The weeds are just starting to grow a little bit. Bass will go off that edge to recover, feed on bluegills, maybe feed fairly lightly. Again, they've just expended a lot of energy spawning. So given that, I tend to try to make it easier for them. I fish a lighter Texas rig weight for the most part, a quarter or 3/16 ounce weight. And when we're talking post-spawn largemouth, I want to give them something easy. So a lightweight makes the bait more approachable. If it sinks faster, they've got to expend more energy to chase it, more of a reaction deal. I want something that's a little bit lackadaisical, just kind of floating in their face, real easy for them to pick up. Lightweight helps do that. We were on a lake that wasn't charted. Again, the weeds weren't up, so I had to kind of feel my way around. And using a tungsten weight on a Texas rig is a great way to feel you around for bottom contact. And what I was looking for was weeds. There are isolated patches of weeds. Bluegills, baitfish are going to congregate in those weeds. The bass are going to be not far behind. As I'm pulling the Texas rig across the bottom, I'll start to feel taller weeds, and I can feel that on my line and I can feel that on my weight. There's a little bit of resistance there. So, okay, I make a mental note where I've been fan casting, where that small patch of weeds might be. And when I find that small patch of weeds, that's really where I want to slow down, concentrate my efforts. The thing about that you want to be really aware of is a bite from a bass feels almost exactly the same as a stalk of weed, which is, again, why we'll talk about why a good sensitive rod is really the key here. So I feel the weed. I can maybe pop out of the weed a little bit, but a bass will pick the bait up and it'll almost be like dead weight. The bass doesn't even know you're there. It's chewing on this big worm. That's one thing you got to do, is let him chew on it a little bit. Again, you get a longer worm. Sometimes they'll hit it right in the head near the hook, but sometimes they hit it towards the end and they got to chew on it a little bit. That's what you got to feel for. So I got my rod tip up. I feel a little resistance. Now I'm just going to hold it there. And the fish will just be ever so slightly chewing on it. You want to let your rod tip kind of dip down as the fish is chewing on it, and then we're going to pick up line with our 8-to-1 gear ratio reel and set the hook. I like fluorocarbon for that as well, because it's a little bit harder for the fish to detect pressure from your rod. And when you're reeling down for that big long hook set, the rod will load up nice. Fluorocarbon pairs with that really well. And a little bit heavier fluorocarbon because you're driving a thicker gauge weight, a 5/0 worm hook. So a lot of times you want a little bit more stout fluorocarbon. So let's take a look at the setup right now. Again, we've got fluorocarbon. Nice thing about fluorocarbon is it is very, very sensitive. Remember, we said a lot of this has to do with feeling our way around. So again, this is a Cashin's Icon Series rod. This is a jig worm rod. This is a 7-foot medium heavy. It's a fast action rod. It's all on the tip. So I'm dragging around. Maybe every once in a while I'll give it a little pop. feeling it come through that weeds, all of a sudden, there's something different there. And your rod's gonna kind of go like this. Just pick down ever so slightly. As you're getting chewed on like that, you can see I'm lowering my wrist. I'm letting the fish chew on it. I'm coming down. Now I'm gonna reel down, pick up my slack, big, long, sweeping hook set. So if you're looking for information on Texas rigging post-spawn largemouth bass, here's some good stuff for you to start with. And if you're looking for more information on kayak fishing, visit www.oldtownwatercraft.com.